Hello, everyone. It's the start of award season. It's the Golden Globes last night, and there were lots of winners, losers, snubs, and underdogs. So I'm going to cover what I thought. I started writing out some of my thoughts, ended up being a little long, and I was like, let's just roll it into a video. Hey, friends and family, if you're watching this, you can probably just listen to it. You probably don't need to watch it, but maybe do the dishes and try not to pull the headphones out of your ears while you're doing it, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go over the Golden Globes. First off, the Golden Globes are kind of interesting. They are the show that gets the season started, but they're not that important. They give film and TV awards, so it's a weird mixture of both, and they're clearly not as important as the Oscars or the Emmys, but they are well respected. Kind of reminds me of the Iowa caucuses. They're not like the most important political event, but win in Iowa kind of puts you on the map for your primary. And same thing here. The Golden Globe can put you on the path to winning an Oscar, a BAFTA, a Producers Guild, that sort of thing. So it's the first one of the season. It's where movies can kind of stake their claim, but it doesn't always work. Like last year, Glenn Close won Best Actress, didn't get nominated for the Oscar. So you can't always go by the Golden Globes, but it is a fun night. What they do is, for us, they try to make things short. They just try to keep shortening the show every year, try to keep it to 3 hours and not go any longer, because they know people don't want to watch award shows, except for me, I guess. Let's try to keep it short. And then when the ratings get too low, they dip back into the deep, dark cave that Ricky Gervais lives in, and they pull him out, and he roused things up. And he was probably he was in rare form, and it was pretty great. This year, he had an amazing monologue that just was brutal. He ripped into so many actors, actresses, Hollywood itself, covered all the scandals, the things that, if you figured they gave a list of things not to talk about, that's what he talked about. So it was really funny. I hope I'm going to just include a link in the description. You can go watch it yourself. I'm not going to do it justice by repeating the jokes, and it'll probably sound way more offensive and worse if you hear me read them, or if you just read them out of context. At the show, it was really cutting, and some of the people had like this horrified look on their face, especially Tom Hanks. He looked like, he'd eaten a fart sandwich or something. It was pretty cool. So he did a good job, but he keeps saying it's his last gig. I don't know if I'll ever come back. They're not going to invite him back, is what he said. But, in 2 years, when they have a couple of boring hosts for a couple of years and no one watches again, they might pull Gervais back out for one last job. Kind of like, some sort of hitman. He's living up on a mountain, and they're like, Ricky, your country needs you. Yeah, and then, so that's what they give for us. They give us a kind of a flippant host, and then they booze up all the celebrities. They give them a meal. They let them drink throughout the whole time. They sit at tables instead of like a big theater. So that helps like some of the celebrities come, because they know they're going to get booze and hobnob with a bunch of people. And we're going to get some interesting acceptance speeches, because people are very loose. This isn't the Oscar. They can have fun with this one. So let's go to the awards. We're going to start with Best Supporting Actress is what we're going to start with. Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. There was Laura Dern, Marriage Story, Kathy Bates, Richard Jewell, Annette Bening, The Report, Jennifer Lopez, Hustlers, Margot Robbie, Bombshell. So Laura Dern won, and she played a super friendly but very ruthless divorce lawyer in Marriage Story, which was an excellent movie. She did amazing. She was just like so peppy, energetic, and also cutthroat. She wasn't on screen for a whole lot, but she made a ton out of what she had to work with, which is exactly what you need for this type of a performance. So I think she deserved it entirely, although I have not gotten to see Richard Jewell or The Report. Side note, Jennifer Lopez is extremely lucky to have been nominated for her turn in Hustlers, which is a terrible, emotionally empty movie that I think did not work on any level except for, maybe some visuals in the beginning. um, and now she's gonna perform at the Super Bowl. I don't know what Jennifer Lopez has got over, what's going on. Am I missing something? Is Jennifer Lopez way more beloved than I thought? Jenny from the Block is having a great year. But she did not do great in her movie. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Supporting actor, we have Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Anthony Hopkins, The Two Popes, Al Pacino, The Irishman, Joe Pesci, The Irishman, Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Brad Pitt wins for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He did really good. He was probably the character that was most interesting of the movie. He kind of stole the show from DiCaprio a little bit, but that's okay. Leo can share the stage. And he did a good job. I don't begrudge him from winning, but I would have given it to Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is amazing. He captures Mr. Rogers. This is somebody you've seen on camera a million times, and you don't feel like you're watching Tom Hanks. You feel like you're watching Mr. Rogers, and he puts his soul into it, and he doesn't let you down. When you have a role like that, it's just don't let me down, and he nails it. Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, they're just doing their shtick. I mean, they're playing themselves, the same role that they've done 100 times, and it's awesome. I like seeing them do their thing, but it's not award-winning performance by any means. Let's go to Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. So this will be a brief thing to touch on. The Golden Globes does this weird thing where they separate movies into dramas or musical or comedy. And how they decide this is a mystery known only to probably the upper echelons of the Hollywood foreign press. I don't know if movies lobby to get their movie considered a comedy or not. Rocketman is a straight up musical. Dolomite Is My Name is a straight up comedy. The other three are mixtures, right? So it's hard to say they're just a comedy or just a drama. But whatever, you just have to not get hung up on this. Just say whatever, they're all musical comedies, who cares? Which of these 5 actors deserves it? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Rocketman or JoJo. I really liked Dolomite Is My Name, and it was so great to see Eddie Murphy in a comeback role. And I think just having him nominated is a win in my book. I'm happy for it. DiCaprio, he did a good job, but I wouldn't give it to him for this role. And then Daniel Craig in Knives Out is very strange because it is an awesome movie, and he does a great job as this Southern detective, but he is not I wouldn't say he has a really lead role. He's not carrying the movie. The movie is about this mystery, and he's the detective, but the movie's bigger than just his character. So I am surprised to see him in the lead nominee here. So congratulations to Taron Egerton. I really want to see Rocketman. I just haven't gotten around to it. And we'll go to Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. We have Awkwafina, The Farewell, Ana de Armas, Knives Out, Cate Blanchett, Where'd You Go, Bernadette, Beanie Feldstein, Booksmart, Emma Thompson, Late Night. So Best Actress, Musical or Comedy was won by Awkwafina. I did not see this movie, but I've heard it's very emotionally moving. Her speech was really genuine, and I was really happy to see her win because she seemed very nice, and she's a newcomer. The only movie I saw from this category is Knives Out, and Ana de Armas, bless her heart, she did a real good job, but she, like Daniel Craig, has a really small role in the movie. I think it's just because it's such an ensemble piece that it's hard to say any one character was the lead and deserves best performance. But she did great, and I think we're going to see her in tons of movies going forward because she, I don't know, was just very good. All right, time for Best Performance Actor in a Musical or Comedy. So the same thing, they split it up. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I thought I had the page open. I'm going to go to Best Actor in a Motion Picture. Is it a musical or comedy? What am I doing? Oh, okay, sorry. I just had the wrong headline. Best Performance Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. We have Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Christian Bale, Ford vs. Ferrari, Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Joaquin Phoenix won for his portrayal of Joker. He was great and definitely turned a comic book movie into a real character drama piece. It felt like a real sink your teeth in movie instead of just a commercial for toys. And he did the impossible, you know. You see a bad guy, you know, killing people, you know, doing horrible things, and he turns you. You start to feel bad for him. You feel like he is this real tortured human being. And even when you don't agree with them, you at least see where they're coming from. And that's really hard to do. So good job, Joaquin. You nailed it. I thought your speech was very nice. You promoted going green environmentalism, but it was hilarious because Joaquin was kind of like taking some of the Hollywood people to task, kind of like Ricky Gervais was, and he was saying like, hey guys, let's all go green, and everyone clapped for him. And he's like, and maybe like we could stop using our private jets to go to Palm Springs all the time, like kind of like slapping him on the wrist a little bit, because you know they're the jet setters, you know, that have huge carbon footprints compared to people that like, you know, drive 6 miles to work like me. But as soon as he said, maybe we should stop using our planes so much, the orchestra swells up and cuts him off. It was great. I think they were just cutting him for time, but it sounded like, you know, some guy was like, cut him off. We can't have him criticizing us. So it was pretty funny. So that was what I liked. But his speech was pretty nice too. And good job. He deserved it. I would have given it, if I was the, you know, sole voter, to Adam Driver, because he does so much. There's a similar great performance, but he has such smaller stakes in his movie. He has a lot less to work with. You know, Joaquin Phoenix is, you know, shirtless, waving around a gun, you know, dramatic. He gets to put on clown makeup. Adam Driver's just like a dude, and he makes you feel so many emotions for him. So I think he did a great job, and I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Driver gets some awards here and there. But good job, Joaquin. I haven't seen Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory, mostly because Pain and Glory, I can't get it to come to the theater. The theater keeps showing me trailers for it, and I want to go see it, but it's not here. I can't watch it, so very frustrating. Ford vs. Ferrari, I haven't seen. I've heard good things. Christian Bale didn't show up to the award, so he probably knew he wasn't going to get it. And Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes. I've yet to see The Two Popes. I didn't really know it existed till the award show, and it popped up everywhere. So I'm really excited to watch it. I loved the young Pope. I like the real Pope. You know, all of that stuff, the scenery, the setting, the drama, the intrigue of the Vatican, super cool. And hopefully, you know, they do them right. They make a good story out of it, and it's not just two old men bickering at each other for 2 hours. I don't know. I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. And let's go to Best Performance Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. We have Renee Zellweger for Judy, Charlize Theron, Bombshell, Cynthia Erivo, Harriet, Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story, and Saoirse Ronan, Little Women. Renee Zellweger won for Judy Garland. For being Judy Garland in Judy. And she gave kind of a weird speech because the first thing she does, I love it. She puts the Globes on blast. She's like, it's been like 17 years, huh? Like, you haven't recognized me, huh? Like, you forget about me? I'm back, kind of thing. And then she just, like, instead of, like, being mean or snide, she's, like, super nice. And she thanks everybody. She thanks Judy Garland. She thanks all the fans of Judy Garland that have talked to her and reached out to her, and how she's felt like she's connected with this part of history and movie history, and I just felt really good for her. I'm glad she's bouncing back and she got a win here. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'd like to. I just didn't really realize it had already been out in theaters. I think it swooped in September really quickly. Yeah, the other performances, I really love Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story. Harriet, Cynthia Erivo, I think the script kind of hurt you on that one. The script kind of makes Harriet seem like this cold, prophetic figure, very close with God and almost supernatural ability, but not like a real person. Like, she doesn't have much personality except like sternness and power, which is fine, but it's hard to say that a stern performance is going to be the best actress. And then Charlize Theron did a really good job. You can barely tell it's Charlize Theron in the movie. Like, she kind of disappears into her role. But congratulations, Renee. I really liked Scarlett Johansson's performance. I'm looking forward to seeing Judy. And let's go. And I'll see more of these movies as we get closer to the Oscars. If you're concerned about my opinions as much as I am. Best Director in a Motion Picture. We have Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Martin Scorsese, The Irishman. Todd Phillips, Joker. Bong Joon-ho, Parasite. And Sam Mendes, 1917. Well, Sam Mendes wins for 1917. And I haven't seen it, so I can't really tell you. This one is kind of pissing me off, though. The movie doesn't come out till January 10th for general release. So they did the dumb thing where they release it in 2 cities in December so that it counts for this year. And then we don't get to watch it till January 10th. Which is annoying when it's the Oscars, but when it's the Golden Globes and the Golden Globes are this early, he's getting the award and the movie isn't even out yet. It's very frustrating. So, I've seen the other 4 movies, and I would give it to Bong Joon-ho of Parasite. Parasite's my favorite movie. I think he did a great job making it. Irishman, I don't think Martin Scorsese really belongs on here. He's getting like the career nomination. And then who I think really got snubbed here is Noah Baumbach for Marriage Story, which was excellent, and Marielle Heller for Won't You Be My Neighbor, the Mr. Rogers story. She put together like a masterclass. She rocked it. The movie is so good, uses so many interesting techniques and ways to tell a story. It elevates a movie that was based on like a magazine article into this like piece of art, and an emotional one at that. So go see that movie. If you haven't seen Won't You Be My Neighbor, you'll probably love it. All right. And let's go to Best Screenplay. We have Steve Zion, The Irishman, Anthony McCartan, The Two Popes, Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-won, Parasite, Noah Baumbach, Marriage Story, and Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino won for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I liked it a lot, but I felt like the plot and the screenplay weren't the most important part. I think the old school Hollywood vibe, he recreated a bunch of old Hollywood sights and scenes, fashions, cars, has these long, cool shots where you see all sorts of old Hollywood stuff. It's pretty cool. I think that was more important to the movie than the script, but it's still an interesting one. Interesting note, if you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it follows like the Sharon Tate story and Charles Manson and them. But loosely, it follows these other actors more. I think the movie will not work nearly as well if you don't know the original true story. before you watch the movie. I think you'd want to know the true story to enjoy that movie the best. But I wouldn't want to read up about the movie too much either. So try to read the historical account, not the movie. That's my advice for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was a good movie. I liked it a lot. I would have preferred Parasite or Marriage Story to win because I think they were better movies and that their script was absolutely like airtight. Things that are set up pay off. There's not a bunch of wasted space. Parasite more so than Marriage Story. Marriage Story is a little more fluffy, but even so, they both rocked it out. I haven't seen The Two Popes yet. I like to. Wow, this guy's got crazy white hair and a dark beard. But I heard that it's normal to have a darker beard. And then Steve Zion for The Irishman. The Irishman was 3 hours. Should have been chopped down. He should not be nominated for writing this big, bloated script. I liked The Irishman, but it would have been a lot better 2-hour movie. Best Animated Picture. A category in which I have not seen any of the nominees this year. Missing Link won, which is by Laika Studio. I think they make like the handmade stop motion stuff, and it's kind of cool to see them win over Disney, and DreamWorks. So congratulations to the smaller studio, and shout out to my cousin Taylor who told me that Missing Link was super good, and because I just saw a commercial and thought nothing of it, but she told me this is really good and you should see it. So the Hollywood Foreign Press agrees with you, and I'd like to see it too. I don't know how Lion King got nominated. I haven't watched it, so maybe I'm missing something, but it's a shot-for-shot remake. How can you nominate a shot-for-shot remake? There's no new story, no new creative. It boggles my mind that got nominated. All right, let's go to the best pictures. Best motion picture foreign language is a stacked category this year. Basically, I've only seen Parasite, but all these other ones are supposed to be very, very good too. I have yet to see Pain and Glory or Portrait of a Lady on Fire because they just won't come to our movie theater yet. I check like every week. Hey, are they coming out yet? No. So I wish U.S. distributors would start giving us the good stuff. Don't wait. They dump it like for a week around Oscar time. Give it to us early. Let us enjoy it. Let us nibble a little bit. You know, some of these movies come out in like June. Like, you know, give us them in like that dead zone in September. That'd be perfect. Whatever. Les Mis is about is not the musical. It's about like French riots. And The Farewell, which I've heard is very good and a very sad, touching family story. But Parasite is an amazing movie. It's just got everything. You ever have like a food that's like super good and you're like, wow, it's sweet, it's salty, it's bitter, it's the texture's right. You know, it's got like a little bit of everything. That's Parasite. You know, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll scream, you'll stand up, you'll shake your fist. You just really care about these people. You care about the movie. You're tense. You don't even know what to call it. You know, it's just a movie with everything. It's awesome. I can't really tell you much about it. It follows this very interesting family that ends up taking some weird jobs, and it goes to a weird place from there. That's a horrible description, but it's on purpose. I don't want to spoil anything. So yeah, Parasite is my favorite movie of the year, not just foreign language. I wish it would have gotten nominated for one of the other categories, but I don't really know how the Golden Globes works compared to the Oscars. Maybe it's not eligible, but it should have been, and it was very, very good. And I just have to say, the director Bong Joon-ho's speech was very, very good. He said something that I thought was great. Once you overcome the 1 inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films. just being nominated along with fellow amazing international filmmakers was a huge honor. And he's basically saying, like, okay, everyone out there, you're sleeping on foreign films. Check us out. We're here. We're rocking it. Like, all 5 of these are sweet movies, apparently. You know, I believe it. I really want to see these too. We deserve to be up there with the other ones. Start watching, you know. So, I love that. Bong Joon-ho, I think he's going to make some interesting movies. The only other movie I've seen from him is Snowpiercer, which is like an action movie about a train in the apocalypse, end of the world. And it's weird. There's a lot of similarities, but this is much better. But both are good. All right, let's go to the other Best Picture categories. Best Picture Musical or Comedy: Knives Out, Jojo Rabbit, Dolomite Is My Name, Rocketman, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood wins. Once again, I wouldn't call it really a comedy, but that's just how the Golden Globes work, so you got to get over it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a lot of fun. You're seeing these 2 movie stars, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, together, so that's fun. And they're playing movie stars, so you kind of see, like, I don't know, it's neat. And it touches on Hollywood's past, glorifying movie making in the days of old, and that just always tickles the foreign press. They love that kind of stuff. They eat it up, and I did too. I liked it. I really was happy that Dolomite got nominated. I'm fine with it not winning. I don't think it was the best movie of the year or anything, but it was delightful, and I'm glad to see Eddie Murphy get some respect. And Knives Out was really, really, really good too. It was just a whodunit with some modern twist, and all the supporting little actors and actresses' roles were excellent. They're this big family, and this big ensemble comedy thriller mystery thing is great. Jojo Rabbit is one that I feel really guilty I haven't seen it, because I really want to. And then Rocketman, I just didn't. I thought it was just going to be like Bohemian Rhapsody 2, coasting on the coattails of that. But apparently, it's getting all these nominations. Maybe it's a really good movie, and I got to go see it. So I'm putting it on the list. I'll go watch it with a fresh set of eyes. I thought I would like it because it's just, a bunch of Elton John music, but I didn't really think Taron Egerton was going to, like, kill it as Elton John, but apparently he does, so should be a lot of fun. Let's go to our last category in movies. Motion Picture Drama. The Two Popes, which I haven't seen yet. I'd like to. Marriage Story. Excellent. Joker. Very good. The Irishman. Good, decent, but long. And Winter 1917. So let's just talk Two Popes. Haven't seen it. Marriage Story. It's a very small movie. It does a very good job about turning small life events into big emotions. So I think that movie is great. Joker was very good, elevated the source material. Irishman, way too long, has a bunch of weird digital de-aging, which I'll talk about some other time. I don't have time to get into it. I could probably go on about that for like 15 minutes, and I'm already going on way too long. But it's good. It's fun. You're watching Scorsese, mob stuff. If you like mob stuff, you like Goodfellas, you like this. It's not as good as Goodfellas, but it's still good, fella. 1917, let's see. It wins, yes. Very anticlimactic. I mean, who's seen this? You're going to have a big award show for 3 hours and build up to a movie that's not out yet. It's very anticlimactic. Ugh, don't like it. Parasite got snubbed. It was my favorite movie. Maybe I'll go watch 1917 next weekend and it'll be way better, but I can't tell you. It's not out. So that was the movie awards. I'm very briefly going to touch on the TV awards. This year it was a mess. Most of the nominees were on like streaming services. And, who knows how many people watch these shows. A lot of these shows I've never heard of. I've never heard anyone talk about them. It seemed like it used to be HBO versus TV, and premium cable versus basic cable and broadcast. But now there's Netflix and Amazon and Apple Plus TV, which is, I didn't even know it was out yet. I knew that it was coming. It just makes the award show kind of a mess. All these niche shows are being nominated. I'm happy that all these people are getting paid and getting to make unique pieces of art. But who's watching it all? I'm not sure. I know there's a ton of good stuff out there, but it just seems weird to have like an award show that might be like... It seems like the award show isn't to recognize excellence in regular TV anymore. It's to see who can do the best in these TV adjacent things like streaming series, limited series, TV movies, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what the Golden Globes have become about. Emmys, they still do more TV stuff, right? Because they do like regular episodes and stuff. It almost just seems like there needs to be another division for like TV and then this like TV plus, the premium stuff. But what are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe that's just what gets... Maybe that's what people want to see is award shows handed out to TV shows. I thought it was funny. Ramy Youssef, who won Best Actor in a Comedy Series for his movie, or his series Ramy, kind of brought this up in a very charming way when he said, "Look, I know you guys haven't seen my show." But he was like really proud of it, and it seemed like he did a good job. He's really charismatic on the award show. It kind of made me want to watch it, but I'm just such a bad TV streaming watcher. I just don't normally have the time to set aside, like, say, I'm going to watch 12 episodes of this thing that already exists. I would rather watch a weekly series. I'm weird like that. Or watch one whole movie at a time. So the TV awards were kind of a mess. This TV show Fleabag won a bunch of them, so that was cool for them. I think they're BBC and Amazon or something like that. But the crown jewel of the TV awards was Ellen DeGeneres winning the Carol Burnett Achievement Award. She was heartfelt and funny. Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. She very graciously accepted the award and was like thanking TV and the power of television, but also was telling us how the television industry like totally mistreated her and threw her away when she came out as gay. So it was like this weird, excellent mix of like, thank you, I survived your attack, but it wasn't catty. It was nice and heartfelt. Like I survived and succeeded in television. Television is a great thing, but also, you did me dirty that time. So it was really nice to see her get nominated, and Carol Burnett was there, and they kept panning to her, so that was kind of fun. So good job on Ellen. You were like the highlight of the TV portion by far. So overall, it was a pretty entertaining Golden Globes. The movie drama was a little, I wish 1917 had been out. That's basically my only complaint. Everything else was pretty good. Ricky Gervais did a really fun job. Normally, these shows are a bore, and it was actually pretty interesting this time. So there, you probably listened to my video that was maybe 4 times longer than the whole Golden Globes. No, it's actually, they stretch the Golden Globes out for 3 hours. And they really try to keep it as short as possible, and they can only ever get it to 3 hours. So I've been rambling for quite a bit, but the moral of the story is there are a ton of good movies out there this year. If you heard of any of these movies, they're pretty much all good. I think Hustlers is the only one that I mentioned by name that I would say don't see. that movie sucked. But almost all the other ones are really good. Anything that got nominated, go check it out. This year had tons of bad movies, and then right at the end, more good movies than you could possibly go see in a week. So get out there, hit the silver screen, and I'll be back again sometime to share some thoughts about the Oscar race a little later. But overall, good opening to award season.